So the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, reviews dietary guidelines for Americans every 5 years. So this in 2019 is their review period where they will then listen and assess and create new dietary guidelines for Americans and release them in 2020. So we were there to speak to the committee, and I just felt really compelled and that it was a duty that I go there and speak on behalf of food injustice.
For the USDA to continue to put its stamp of approval on a product that is unnecessary and unhealthy and rooted in a highly oppressive system is unconscionable.
Animal products like dairy, they're wrought, completely wrought with grave injustices.
African American people are eating foods that are going to make them sick because they think they have to do it.
So in white people, or the people who have been milking cows, which are inherently mostly northern European white people, we actually have a genetic mutation that keeps that lactase enzyme turned on through adulthood. So we are the abnormal ones. And a lot of the America's population, as well as the world's population, who cannot tolerate cow's milk in a much higher percentages, 86% of African descent and 95 to 98% of people of Asian heritage can't tolerate lactose or the casein in cow's milk at all. And so we presented this idea of food injustice to the committee to say, hey, listen, a really large majority of your people can't tolerate this, and it's actually making them very sick.
The vast majority of people of color in this country are intolerant of the lactose that's in milk. Yet, because they think they have to eat this stuff, they go out, eat it, get sick, and think that they have some sort of intestinal problem.
Because the symptoms of lactose intolerance are anywhere from stuffy nose in the morning to asthma, to waking up with mucus in your lungs, to constipation, diarrhea, stomach bloating, cramping. I mean, they're really pretty serious feelings that people have when they can't tolerate cow's milk or any derivative of it, right? So cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt, butter, whatever it might be. So I'm hoping that the USDA will listen to this point and say, hey, wait a minute, this is something we should consider taking off. Because if 65% of our population can't digest this, and it's not a good food for them because it's making them sick, why on earth would it be on their plate?
When I encouraged them to stop eating dairy, their problems cleared up. And so it's really outrageous to encourage people to eat foods we know will make them sick, particularly when the number one reason advanced for dairy foods is its calcium content, but African American women are genetically protected against getting osteoporosis, so we're making them sick for no good reason.
So in regards to Dr. Milton Mills' comments, and one of the very first things he said when he came up to the microphone in pointing out that sitting up before us, the committee, there was no ethnic diversity whatsoever.
I actually came here this morning to call out the racism that is inherent in the U.S. Dietary Guidelines, but then as I got to look at this committee, I suddenly understood why it's such an intractable problem. This committee bears no relationship to the general makeup of the American populace, and whoever put it together is clearly still practicing the optics of tokenism.
So it really was a bunch of white people, couple women, but mostly white men. And so I think he made a really strong point before he even went into the injustices about dairy.
It is outrageous to have a committee that does not reflect the American population. And as non-minority members of this committee, I should think you would be embarrassed looking around this table.
Why on earth does the USDA have a food category on the dietary guidelines for Americans that makes over half of us sick, uncomfortable, and unable to breathe?
For human health, for human performance, for planetary responsibility, and for food injustice, we cannot push this so-called food group on human beings that over half of us cannot digest.
So I want to encourage you, get the racism out, get the dairy out. Please do your job. Thank you.